Made a quick stop at the powder coat shop. If you guys don't remember, this is where we got my intake manifold powder coated. And we're back again because the AOS probably won't match the engine bay if it stays red. So we're gonna try and get this powder coated the same color as the intake manifold. The only thing I'm questioning is, do I wanna go with more of like a flat finish like this? I guess it's a little late to ask you guys because by the time you watch this video, it'll probably be back from powder coat, but I don't know, I guess I'll figure it out right now. So I didn't remember that this actually has to go in an oven to get powder coated, so all of this will have to come off. The good thing is I took pictures of these 3 lines, and then I believe they can just remove this top piece and this bottom piece, and those lines will stay there. AOS is dropped off. He didn't give me a time frame, but I'm gonna guess like maybe max a week. They just gotta take it apart, powder coat it, and then put it back together. Everyone say hi to Coco. Oh, hi Coco. Oh, he's so excited. A little security vest. So Javi did a couple of things over the weekend. If you guys remember months ago when he did the timing belt, he forgot to put this hard line in, right?
Yeah, the hard line, the hard line from the head to the ABCS.
So you can't get that bolted down with the timing belt on, so he had to remove that, which was a good thing because there's also another hose down in there that you said is almost impossible to get on.
Well,
the timing belt.
It would have been easy if we still had the regular clamps, the ones you put pressure on and they release. But I had to put a worm clamp because we lost those, and to tighten up that worm clamp with this on there would have been damn near impossible, or a pain in the ass, and I didn't want to deal with it.
And then he also did the dipstick, and then did this little hose down here,
and then the one on this side.
Oh, this side too?
Yeah.
Nice. So now we're just gonna clean up the timing cover, and then should be able to put it back on.
Put it back on.
We got the timing cover all cleaned up, but I think we're missing some of this rubber that goes around the edges. So we moved on to the clutch, got the flywheel on there. Javi torqued the clutch down. Everything is torqued down except these 2. So those were the ones that we were missing. Javi just put a bunch of washers just to set everything into place, and then later on we'll get some hardware and then replace those 2, right?
Yeah. So those are just there, so
temporary. So it's been a couple of days since that last clip that you guys just saw, and I feel like I have to update you guys on everything that's going on with the engine, everything that's going on with the actual car itself. I know it seems like nothing's progressing and we're not doing anything because you guys haven't seen any videos, but I just want to reassure you guys that things are going down. We're getting stuff done. So real quick, just because I didn't even mention anything when we were at Javi's shop, but we got the engine pretty much done. It's drop-in ready. The only thing that we still need are fuel lines, but that's going to be done once the engine goes back into the car. With that being said, you guys are probably wondering why the car is still here if the engine is done. Right now we're waiting for a spot to open up in Javi's shop so we can have my car sitting there for like 2 to 3 days while we do the whole drop-in. Remember guys, that's Javi's actual shop. That's how he makes his living. So we just got to be patient and wait for him to let us know when it's okay to bring the car down, or when he has a spot open, which is perfectly okay with me because we still have a lot of work to do on this thing before we can take it down to Javi's shop. So for starters, we have to clean the engine bay and have that ready to go. The reason for that is we don't want to show up and try and clean the engine bay at Javi's shop. Like I said, he has limited space, so we might as well get everything that we can get done here now. That way when we take the car down, we're ready to just drop the engine in and get it out of there. Another thing that we need to take care of that I'm already kind of in the process of taking care of is the exhaust. TNT had mentioned that the exhaust tip was touching the rear bumper and that's why they left it off. I did test fit it and it didn't seem like it was touching, but it was sitting like really close, maybe like right there. That's also something I wasn't a big fan of on the G200, was the exhaust tip is massive, dude. It's like 4 or 5 inches. So we took that to a welder and he's gonna weld on a 3-inch exit. That way it's a little bit smaller, and also I don't risk burning the rear bumper. I'm probably gonna get something for this as well because I don't want that to happen at all. We also have to figure out how we're gonna mount the license plate because there's like literally nowhere. Like I'm actually really confused on how we're gonna mount the license plate and how we're gonna mount the license plate lights. So I'm probably gonna reach out to David and see how he mounted his. Maybe I'll ask a couple of other M Sport dudes, see how they did theirs, and then just figure it out from there. The last thing that we need to do, and it's probably gonna be the toughest thing to do, is make some fender liner for the fronts out of ABS plastic. I've seen how they do it before. They trace out a template out of cardboard first, and then they get the ABS plastic and they heat it up and they mold it to the wheel well. I think I've already mentioned it in a previous video, but the reason for that is because I don't want any rocks coming through these vents right here and then hitting the door, and then we got rock chips all over the door. Another thing that I've kind of been stressing on is the rears. So as you guys saw, Chepo came and he made sure we wouldn't rub, but he said that we wouldn't know until we actually drive the car. So once the engine is back in, we'll make sure we're not rubbing, and if we are, we'll have Chepo cut a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get started on this engine bay. We're gonna get this all cleaned up, and I'm also gonna wash the car because check it out. Can you guys even see that? It's so dirty. So I sprayed the engine bay with some Simple Green. We'll let that sit, we'll wash the car, and then we'll come back and rinse this out. There it is, all cleaned up. Let's do a little walk around just because this car hasn't been clean in so long. Check it out, it's looking so good. I forget how much I love this color. And check out the engine bay. It actually came out really good. It's all cleaned up, ready to go for the engine. I'm so excited. Honestly, every time I open the hood, I think about how good of a job TNT did for having all this shit like in the way. I mean, they did a pretty damn good job painting the engine bay. They missed like a couple spots back there, but like how are you even gonna get back there? Like right here, once the power steering reservoir goes back on, you won't be able to see that. Once the top mount intercooler goes back on, you won't be able to see that over there. There is something that I noticed on the car that I was worried about since the beginning, and I knew it was gonna happen. So I'm trying to get it to focus. It's gonna be kind of hard, but there's a small scratch. There it is, you guys can see it. There's a scratch right there. Wouldn't really consider it small because it goes from like right here, kind of fades away like right there. Kind of looks purple, so I feel like someone walked by with something and like accidentally tapped it right there. When I first saw it, I was like, damn, that sucks, but it can probably come off pretty easy because it looks like it's some sort of like paint transfer. And then I looked back there and I'm like, no way. So these two are going to be a little bit harder to catch on camera because they're like white scuff marks. This one, I can't really get an angle, but there's like a scuff from here to here. So like that big right there. And then I looked over here and there's a bigger, this one's bigger. Like I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. But yeah, it kind of sucks, but I mean, this is like the passageway. This is where people walk by. And as careful as I'm going to be, other people probably won't be as careful. But I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that because it's going to annoy the shit out of me if I keep thinking about it. Once we get the car out of here, we'll look for someone to detail it, get it ceramic coated, all that fun stuff. Really happy that we got the car all cleaned up. We got the engine bay all cleaned up, got that out of the way. It actually wasn't that dirty. It just had like a layer of dust all over it. I sprayed it with some Simple Green, rinsed that off, went back with some soap, and then rinsed that back off. And check it out. AOS should be back from powder coat this week. I'm not really sure how long on the exhaust. I know he had to order the new tip, but that should be in by now. Oh, and also there's one more thing that I want to show you guys before we end today's video. We have a box. I can't really remember, but I think this is the last part that we needed, or the last part that we were going to order. We have everything else besides the 2 coil packs and oil and fluids and all that stuff. But as far as car parts, I think this is the last thing. I think this is something that Javi wants me to install before we take the car down, just because I think I can do it without the engine. It's nothing crazy, but this is the Chase Bay's power steering reservoir kit. So we got some lines, some fittings in there as well, and then this is the actual reservoir. So I've seen a lot of people run this reservoir kit. Shout out to my boy David Padilla because he recommended this to me like maybe over a year ago, honestly. This is gonna sit somewhere I think that's the actual hole right there. So somewhere like right here, I believe, maybe. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys are excited because we are really, really close to getting this thing running again. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.